One, first thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect, 144,000. Noise in this gospel, bro, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is a quick lesson through the Spirit, titled, You Have Some Extremely, titled, You have some extremely stupid jakes in this faith, man. Okay, you have some extremely stupid jakes that call themselves Israelites. All right, and we're talking about men. Slakia. We're talking about men in this thing that seems to it's been a big controversy. Well, I won't even say a controversy. It's been a big thing going around about this guy, Yahweh Call, which this video is not about him at all, because me personally, I haven't had any encounters with this guy, and luckily so I haven't. So it's not really speaking about him, but it's speaking to about the people that's co-signing to the bullshit that he has done over the years. I've been seeing on the comment boards, because there's been several testimonial videos coming out against this guy, against his evilness towards the brotherhood, and how he's offended a lot of men, you know, unjustly, bro. And it's scary, because the scriptures say he who offended the least of these sheep should, Matthew's the 18th chapter, when it goes into he that offend the least of these little ones, the great would be if a millstone was hung around his neck and he drowned in a river. Okay, and that was the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai himself, offending the sheep, offending the small ones, man, which represents us, the brotherhood, the men in his faith. It's a dangerous thing to offend the men of the Lord and just brothers, period, because for the simple fact, you know, you're supposed to treat every brother like Yahweh Shai. Now, it is true, sometimes we can do things that we don't know that we do. You know, we're all men in the flesh. So, yeah, things happen. You may say something that rub a brother the wrong way, but you might not have no knowledge of it, you know, especially if the brother really ain't say anything. And oftentimes, you know, if we have like a little bitch fit, you know, a lot of times brothers just kind of look past like, you know, he just bugging right now. We all catching hell. We all mentally sick in this thing for real, because, you know, being in America is totally messed Jake's mind up. But see, when you have things like you wishing death upon a man that doesn't have a proud bone in his body, you know, prime example, and I'm gonna use this example. My brother, the lawyer, man, from the head of the GMS Miami camp. Honorable brother, man, very meek brother, humble brother, you know, very tranquil. Like, when you compare meekness, and when I say that meekness compared to him and myself, I don't add up. You know, because certain brothers have got a very, very humble spirit, and when you compare meekness to that brother, I don't add up to that, you know, at all. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how good of a spirit and a pure spirit I feel that brother have. You know what I'm saying? It's like 10 to 1. You know, if you ask me, am I humble versus that brother, I would tell you straightforward, like, fuck nah. Because he has a very meek spirit, which, you know, if somebody asks you, are you humble? The first thing you're going to think about is like, I hope I am, you know? For you to say, yeah, I am humble, that's a form of displaying haughtiness and proud, because how do you know? Okay, you don't know what others perceive or what others' perception of you or what type of vibe you give off. So it's always good to check the spirit. But for you to tell a man that he's going to die of his particular illness, because everybody know that sickle cell anemia, that's like a life-threatening disease, man. Okay, that's very painful and life-threatening, to the point that, hey, you may not, people done gave up the spirit off that disease, man. And for a man to wish that upon a brother that's done nothing but right in his faith, that's a problem, you know. And it's not so much what he said that's been addressed, but it's just the men that co-sign with that. Like right now, you got men on the comment board saying, well, he apologized and this and this and this and that. Y'all da. But for one thing, man, you ain't done a video in 3-4 years, bro. So it's just best for you to keep your mouth shut, man. You know, keep your mouth shut, because it does not concern you. You know, scriptures say that certain things are not lawful to speak out of season. So a lot of guys that's co-signing for men that you've never met, that you don't know, or you may have been around a guy for 2-3 weeks versus a man that's been around him, or a men several years. And for you to make a judgment call on this man's character when you got people that know particular individuals for years, that shows you that you're on a low fucking level, man. Okay, so it just behooves a lot of you dudes just to shut the fuck up, man. A lot of you don't know what you're part of. A lot of you don't know about anything. A lot of you just in this thing because it's something to do. And then you do have some sincere men that have been drugged into the madness too, man. And that's the reason why a lot of brothers have been doing videos on this ordeal, for the simple fact because you know, it's to reach the small ones, man, the flock, the younger brothers, man. Okay, because you got a lot of men in this thing, you know, that's sincerely doing the work, that's out there teaching the word, but yet they just don't really know how to discern between righteous men and wicked men. Okay, and they may get caught up in that ordeal, and then, you know, they become a castaway because they're caught up in another man's offenses, man. And the scriptures goes into being able to properly discern between the righteous and the wicked. Okay, and it takes experience to do that, you know. So it's a lesson for all of us at the end of the day on what not to do, and to really take heed to what we, you know, to what we're a part of, bro, because this is not a light thing at all, man. Okay, this truth is very, it's very, when I say fragile, meaning that the dynamic of this truth, hey, Yahweh Shemi Hawashai, they're not playing games, man. Okay, you offend anybody in this thing and you don't give a sincere apology, or, you know, if you're moving around on demon time and you're not taking heed to brothers and what they're telling you, then the Lord will find offense in that. Because every man in his faith should be treated like he's Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, from the least to the greatest of us, man. You know, what the fuck is wrong with these people driving like idiots? You know, so we ought to be careful on who we offending, man. And a lot of you guys, like I said, a lot of you just need to just chill the fuck out and shut the fuck up, man. Okay, a lot of you don't know shit. Okay, you go off because a man is doing 1,000 videos a week, because the way he say shalom or he got a following, you automatically assume that he's a man of the Lord, man. Okay, just because he's appearing to do good, like scriptures say that even Satan is able to transfer himself into a minister of righteousness and angels of light. So you're gonna have men in this thing that's gonna come off as being brothers, okay, but yet they're really ravening wolves, man. Okay, like the scriptures goes into wolves in sheep's clothing. You have a lot of that in the faith, man. And me personally, I've experienced, you know, some ordeals here and there, you know, dealing with men that got kicked out of the faith, you know, thinking that they were brothers and, you know, everybody loved them. And before you know it, they was proud. They was a bunch of demons, you know, they didn't take heed, they didn't take correction. And before you know it, they was changing the doctrine behind brothers' back, man. Secretly teaching that this is that, this is this, teaching that the earth is flat, you know, teaching that King David is this man, that the Vatican is, Salakia, that Babylon the Great is the Vatican, which is literally 2 square mile island, you know, that there was no such thing as missiles, there was no such thing as chariots, you know, all types of damnable heresies coming into the fold. We've seen it and we've witnessed it from men that was once a part of the body that was in good standing, okay, because it tells us that in a lot of times, some should depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, man. And you got a lot of men in this thing that's devils, man. Okay, a lot of men that can speak well, they're they're well versed, they're very eloquent, you know. But when you look at their inward deeds, they're full of dead men's bones, man. Senses bugging out, you know. Some men may secretly be on drugs, you know, fucking alcohol demons, all types of shit is going on in this thing, man. How you younger brothers, you got to know how to, that's why we kept going into properly vetting men, you know, knowing what you're part of. But see, a lot of you have so much despising against the men of Great Millstone, to the point if we showed you and showed you the exact evidence, if we recorded everything that we went into and showed you, you still believe, because it's about Yahushua. And you people refuse to believe that the Most High is dealing with the GMS, man. And a lot of you know that he's dealing with Great Millstone, but you're so envious and hateful because the apostles, who you appear to be nothing, bums, men of no reputation, men with no particular gimmicks, you approve, or you fathom yourselves to hate men like that, because you're looking like, how can men like this have so much knowledge when they're not even doing, you know, when they don't have gimmicks in their ordeal. You know what I'm saying? They're born, they wear plain garments, they don't do rap videos, they don't let women in their congregation. How can these be men of the Lord with all this knowledge, but yet they're so goddamn born? And a lot of you despise that, man, because a lot of you is looking to come up another way, man. This is why it's easier for you guys to get in those other camps like UPK, IUIC, you know, HOI, because they don't really vet nobody. Okay, as long as you come in there saying shalom and you willing to give half your money every goddamn month to these people, then, you know, they all cool with you joining the camp, man. All right? Near 2.0. Shalom, brother. Yahweh Shem Shah Brakatah. Matthews 22:14, it says, for many are called, but few are chosen. Many are called and few are chosen. And I'm going to echo something that Elder Yahshua said, okay? Because I versed it in the spirit and I said it in my other videos. Me personally, I believe that a lot of Israelites are going to start dying next year, man. Okay, that's just my opinion. You know, getting judged out here because they're not in the right spirit. Now, it's true, men die all the time. You got men in the Lord that pass and go to the spirit world, you know, because of whatever sickness and illness. But you got certain men that's in this thing to obtain a corruptible crown. And a lot of them guys are going to start getting dropped off. And I think the Most High is just making an example out of this Yahweh Call guy, man. Me personally, I think he's just using Yahweh Call as an example. But I think the Most High is getting ready to open up the floodgates of hell on Jake, man, that's not living right and that's not being right in the ministry. You know, this is why, hey, Passover next year, we got to be extra on point. You know, because, hey, oftentimes around Passover, that's when a lot of judgments go forth, man. A lot of men get outed. A lot of men start bugging out. You know, a lot of men start, you know, coming with perverse doctrines. And the list goes on, man. And we want to make sure that we're not in that wicked spirit. Make sure that our eyes are single. Make sure that we're doing right by the ministry, you know, by the brotherhood. Make sure we're being brotherly, not offending brothers, you know, and also exhorting and rebuking. Because at the same time, you can't be too nice. Because if you know that a man is going off and you don't call it out, scriptures say that if you suffer sin upon your brother and you let that man die in his iniquity because you didn't warn him, though you know he was being a damn demon or a nigga, you didn't warn him, the Most High is going to out your ass. So yeah, at times you do have to be an asshole in this truth, man. Okay, and certain men might not like it, but hey, you can't handle it. They say, look, if you can't handle the fire, get out the kitchen. Okay, because this thing ain't about liking somebody or you being the most popular brother, or, you know, I ain't gonna say this because I don't want this brother to hate me. Fuck all that, man. Okay, you rather stand alone and do this thing by yourself before you have a bunch of yes men around you that's gonna kiss your ass just because, man. We don't operate like that. All right. Jeremiah 48:10, it says, cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully, and cursed be he that keepeth his sword back from blood. Right. Okay, and you got a lot of deceitful men that go around, like, you know, prime example, homeboy. Just because you see him on the highways and byways and in every state in the week, that doesn't mean that he's a man of the Lord, man. Okay, like the brothers did a video, Lawyer did a video titled, just because a man is diligent doesn't mean he ain't a demon, you know? And a lot of times if you're a demon, then you're really not diligent, okay? Because really it's counter-reactive, so to speak. You know, it's really, how can I say it? It's a particular term I'm using, a phrase I usually use. It's counterproductive, okay? Because for you to be that diligent, but yet you have such an evil and hateful heart, then you're really doing yourself a disservice, because the scriptures goes into basically your works being remembered. But a lot of guys, man, they do the work deceitfully, not in true intent, you know, but just to kind of put the blind over a lot of men's eyes, man. Okay, that's why the scriptures say, try the spirit by the spirit, and knows if the spirit is of Yahweh Shem Shai, man. Because like I said, a lot of men come in this thing not knowing what this is about, you know. So oftentimes they gravitate towards brothers that appears to have the right spirit, but yet they end up getting caught up in some shit, and then they get jacked up, man. And you don't want that to be the case, okay? Matthew 23:5, it says, but all their works they do for to be seen of men, and to make broad their phylacteries, to enlarge the borders of their garments. That's right, man. The scribes and Pharisees had a big ordeal of that. They love the cheaper, the feast. They love the feast. They love the uppermost seats in the synagogues. You know, they wanted the praises of men. You know, well, I got the praise of this brother, so therefore I can run a rat race around him. And this is why you got to be careful, man. You know, knowing who you're listening to. Like I even said it myself, for you younger brothers out there, be careful from these ex-GMS fallouts, man. Okay, when you see a guy that's from Great Millstone and he's no longer part of the body, probably avoid that guy, man. Unless he's really coming in the right spirit, teaching the right doctrine, you know, giving double honors, and it really seems to have a pure spirit about him. But most guys that leave our camps, we just gonna be real with you, most of them become demons. Okay, they become disenchanted, they become disgruntled, and then they feel empty inside because they don't have that brotherhood anymore. Because believe it or not, contrary to what these other groups tell you about us, Great Millstone, we're very brotherly, man. Okay, brothers would literally give you the food out their plate, off their plate. I mean, brother had one chicken wing. Hey, brother, you want that? Hey, brothers are very brotherly, man. You know, because that's what we're taught. The Lord said that you would know my disciples by the love they have towards one another. So, and when men get outed from that, that burns, man, when you don't have that type of support. You don't go around brothers no more. You feel that shit. You know, so off the time, men, they last shot of hurt, and then they become scoffers. All right. 1 Peter 4:17, it says, for the time has come that judgment must begin in the house of Yahweh. It says, if it begin first at us, what should be the end of them that obey not the gospel of Yahweh, right, man? Okay, judgment is coming into the house of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, starting with you Israelites, man, of these different groups. And if you don't want to get caught up in that, as we all don't, man, we got to make sure that we right, bro. Praying, asking for forgiveness. And I'm speaking to myself, man, because myself, I'm not exempt from judgment. You know, I'm pretty sure I've done a lot of things to piss off Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. And the only thing I can do is beg for mercy. So, hey, don't make it, I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm just exempt. I'm clearly not exempt from judgment. You know, I'm afraid every day, like, man, what if the Lord fucked me up for some shit that I did in my past life or something I did this time and I didn't know? You know, because, hey, we got a list of offenses on us in the spirit that we clearly don't know about. You know, and I don't want to fall victim of that, man. You know, if I ever had to perish in his faith, I want it to be in good standing, and I want it to be in good report of doing the work and being known as doing the work and being sincere, man. If nothing else, that's enough. All right. Matthew 7:16, it says, ye should know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Right. And the scriptures also go into how a sparrow is like its kind in the Apocrypha. Birds of a feather flock together. You know, so a lot of times when men come together is because it's a form of commonality among them. Okay, they have something in common, you know, and sometimes men can pick up on that without really knowing. So when you see what's happening among these other groups and fallouts and bug outs and men kind of clicking up, a lot of times they have a lot of shit in common, hating the men of the Lord, man. All right, and it says, and even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree can bring forth evil fruit. And a lot of times, man, you can have good intent, but you could be corrupted by a bad tree. Okay, just look like, just say if you had a tree that was bearing bad fruit, and then one of the fruits end up being pure good, eventually that fruit is gonna rot out. Or if you put a bad apple amongst a good bunch of apples, that bad apple is gonna contaminate all those other apples, and they're gonna rot out. Okay, and that's what you have among these other men, man. Okay, so a lot of you men that may have the good intent, but if you stick around this leaven too long, then you're gonna finally realize that, hey, you're gonna have a tainted spirit, because that leaven is gonna contaminate your soul, your spirit, and you're gonna start spewing out hate. Okay, because a lot of times when these men get kicked out, they tell one side stories, one side narratives, and then they only get one side of the story. So therefore, the person on the other side of that only have a one narrative. Oh, well, they was wicked, they fucked up. Damn, that's bogus, brother. But they would never tell you why they were outed in the first place. And oftentimes, those men that's getting that one-sided narrative, they oftentimes have that leaven in their spirit. So now they're looking at you funny when they don't even know the reason behind this guy's departure, man. Okay? And it says here, a good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. So yeah. And it says, but every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire, which is those missiles. And by their fruits ye should know them. All right, what's this? Near to Romans 9:6, it says, not as though the word of the Most High have taken on effect, for they are not all Israel which of Israel, right? That's because you calling yourself a Hebrew Israelite, brother. That don't mean that you're part of the faith. That don't mean that the Lord is dealing with you, man. Okay, because it's more wicked niggas in this thing than not. And what proves that is to look at how these other groups are moving. Pull-up boys, for example. Why would you call yourself that shit? Pull-up boys want to march on protests, brag about bringing bangers or sticks to camp, all that bullshit, man. And oftentimes, men with that die-hard mentality, they all kind of clink up, man. You know? Hey, shalom, brother. GMS Island Straight Gate. How about you, Shah Brakatah, brother? Shalom to you sisters out there. How about you, Shah Brakathum? But yeah, brothers, man, this is just something I wanted to speak on through the spirit. Lord's will, you were edified. For like I said, for you younger brothers, man, be careful on who you deal with. Okay? Take heed. Watch the apostles. watch the videos, take heed. This is not a fucking hangout. This is not a friendly thing, okay? And honestly speaking, you younger brothers, you really shouldn't even be speaking with older men in this thing like that, man. You know what I'm saying? It's an order to everything. Though we will deal with younger men, because me myself, I've only been in the truth like roughly 12 years. So I'm still a young man. You know, I'm not considered an elder or anything like that. Okay, because I've been noticing that that title of elder has been thrown around very loosely too. Okay, you got men that's been in this thing 7, 8, 9, 10 years and they're being called elders. Nah, man. Apostle Gabar broke it down. An elder really comes 20 years and up. All right? But hey, through the spirit, how you see fit, so be it. All right? But anyway, I'm going to end it here, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And with that, shalom. Lord, so you edified. Shalom.